wanted the Packers. Listen, Philadelphia sells out regardless. That argument from Jacksonville and Tampa and some of these other programs that don't get to see Green Bay a bunch and want that stadium full, I totally respected that. I get it. Philadelphia is going to sell out regardless. If it's Cleveland, if it's Green Bay, if it's Chicago, whoever. So that argument doesn't hold water with me in this regard. They're going to fill up.
Isn't Chris's point that it's a more competitive playoff positioning impacted game that you would want if you're an Eagles fan or if you're the Eagles, wouldn't you rather play the Packers if it could be for a playoff position at
Jesse,
home than at a neutral site?
This is not – I totally agree. If I'm Philly, I'm pushing back saying I don't want I want to have home field advantage versus Green Bay. I'm saying from the Packer fan standpoint and the players and the organization, you're getting rid of a road game. You're going a lot further, but I'm telling you, at best it'd be 50-50 Philly Green Bay fans in Brazil. Packer fans, I will guarantee, going to show up in a big way like they did in London, like they will in Germany, like they do in Tampa, like they do in Vegas, like they do with the Chargers, when they do when they go play out west.
Not tomorrow, not after breakfast, now.
But that's true. And so I actually think Chris's point from Philly's standpoint is completely valid. But from a Packers standpoint, it is advantageous to take this puppy on the road, travel 6,000 miles in the heat of summer, right by the equator, and play in, is it Sao Paulo? Is it in Sao Paulo?
Yes.
It would be, yeah, it'd be a win-win for the Green Bay Packers.
For someone whose life is completely unaffected by this, as you said, also I really enjoy the I guarantee, which I've heard, I think, 3 times now in this discussion. You seem passionate about this, even though it doesn't affect you one way or the other.
Jason, I respect the fact the NFL is doing this. They are going big. They could easily sit on their hands and keep collecting $20 billion a year, $25 billion a year. Mm-hmm. They've made it. They're trying to jam American football down the foreigners' throats, and I am all here for it.
In their homelands.
We're trying to build a base in London, and everybody said you can't do it. I was at that game. Yeah, there were a lot of American fans there, but people were excited, and it's growing. And it's continuing to grow. And Germany is going to be a boon. Germany, remember the World League, Football League, where Marco and some of the guys got their career started?
Sure.
Germany was huge. People want to learn more about American football. When I did my little deal with Sky Sports, people are chomping. They're thirsty for more. And the NFL is working hard to grow it. This is a great opportunity to continue to grow it. And Brazil is a sport. They love soccer. I'm sure they'll love, remember when it first started in London, everybody would just cheer the field goals? Like that's when people got the most excited, when people would go kick extra points and field goals. Well, it's changing. People are getting more excited. So I always am looking for ways to get after the NFL, things that they don't do well, how they don't do certain things in a. This is not one of those. This is, I think, smart business, and I feel like the Packers not going as selfishly. It's disappointing because that's another standalone, big boy football game that would garner big-time attention, and I think would be super fun, and I think it's advantageous for the G&G to play a pseudo-home game instead of a road game at the Link around Thanksgiving.
Right around Jordan Love getting his extension. All right, so Jesse, and by the way, just to clarify, if you joined us late, I
just got a text from a good friend of the show, our buddy Andy North. 1 hour or 2 hour time change at most. You go over to Europe, it's 6-7 hours sometimes, depending on the daylight savings clock and everything else. The time change ain't even that big a deal. You're not looking at so it's going to be a primetime action Friday night. Boom, boom, boom. I love the concept of it. And now that Andy texts us, I actually am even more on board. Not going to be some monster, oh, my God, we got We got it like when we went over to play in Tokyo and we got the sleep specialist telling us to sleep on planes and doing this, and Michigan State doesn't. None of that. This is just what a deal for the league and for the Green Bay Packers to basically get rid of a road game, having 9.5 home games instead of 9. What a deal.
And the flight is only 5,376 miles from Green Bay to Sao Paulo.
So what is that, 6.5, 7 hours?
Well, what is it, like New York to L.A. is what, 3,000 and change? And that's about a 4-hour flight? Yeah.
Yeah, depends which bird you get, but yeah.
Great to hear from Andy North. You should schedule him to come on the show. We always enjoy his visits to our program.
Well, his Super Bowl's coming up.
That's true. Also, Jesse, are you again, we know that the Packers aren't going. I got a couple of tweets saying, you guys know that they leaked that the Browns are going. Yes, we know. The Tauscht is making his case why I suppose the NFL should change its mind.
So, Jason and Jesse, listen, I have strong opinions. I feel strongly about this.
Yeah.
Am I crazy? What I'm saying, throw some holes at me. Why is this? Why am I wrong? Because I got some stuff yesterday. Oh, you're so mean to Jason again. And I'm just like, get over it. I'm not being mean to Jason.
For the record, I did not think you were mean to me. I just think you were a sarcastic dink who thought he was funny, saying, oh, he's trying to get him for the veteran minimum.
First off, I didn't say that. Somebody tweeted it, and I just repeated it.
Anytime Tauscht is in the studio, he's just a little more grumpy than he usually is when he's at his undisclosed location.
Okay, don't get into that. That's not accurate at all. So throw some holes at me. Where am I wrong on my belief that the Packers should want to go? That they should want to go?
I don't have holes for you on that. The gaping hole in this is that it is the Philadelphia Eagles home game. And they are going to be competing with. I know they had a down year last year. They still made the playoffs, by the way, but they were 10-1.
Somebody made a bold prediction. Somebody made a bold prediction that the Eagles were going to be knocked up before the rebuilding Packers last year. If you can believe somebody had that great a foresight.
Yeah, that guy. I don't know. I don't remember who that was, but that guy's rarely right otherwise, especially with trivia questions. He didn't put any money on it
either.
Pretty smart producer of a wildly popular radio show.
I enjoy Alex Strouf's work as well, but
show.
The biggest hole is that if you're Philadelphia, you want this to be an out-of-conference game. That means the absolute least when it comes to playoff tiebreakers, etc. That's the biggest hole, because you want to play the Packers at home if it comes to November or December, and you're jockeying for the most important number 1 overall seed in NFL history. You want that game at home. It's an extension of, I don't want any of my division games being played in Brazil either, right? That's what it is. So then you start to look at their schedule and the other options. I don't blame them for wanting the Packers in Philly, not because they need the tourism dollars or because, Coors Light sales will be much higher while Wisconsinites are in town. It's because of the home field advantage factor. That is it. Now, I don't know if the NFL...
Again, I'm not asking...
I don't know... You asked for me to poke holes. If I could finish, that would be great. So, I don't know if the NFL asked both the Eagles and the Packers, or if they said, look, you guys get to the Eagles, look, you guys get to choose. These are the 2 teams that we would like to send. We would prefer we sent the Packers because they're huge in Brazil, according to this radio show in Wisconsin. And so if I'm the Eagles and I get the opportunity to choose, I don't want the Packers in Brazil. If you're going to argue that the Packers should go, the biggest thing is your coach doesn't like the apple cart to be upset. You saw how he behaved the week of the London game.
Lessons learned, though. Lessons learned from that.
Right. The lesson he learned is don't be public with it. And don't let the team know that you don't want to do this. But he still is not going to want to do it.
No. But he should.
It's the my point is operations people that would push back on you and say, that's the biggest hole on our side, which I was trying to get to, is that we want it to be as simple as possible.
Yeah, well, that's not life. That's not how life works.
Yeah, but you
Things
remember
aren't
when you were playing. You remember how coaches are. Mike Sherman and Mike McCarthy are both this way. They don't want anything that throws off the rhythm of the season.
But you know what? It also throws off the rhythm for the Philadelphia Eagles and a home game. I get what you're saying from Philly's standpoint. I don't care about Philly. I don't care nothing about Philly. Okay?
Well,
what I care about is the Green Bay Packers and what is going to give them the best opportunity. This is if indeed it is the Packers that said no, which I don't know for sure. All I know is the league would love for the Green Bay Packers to do it. Maybe Philly came down with their big old veto pen and said, no, sir. No, sir. We're not doing that because it's a conference game and all the stuff that you just went through. And if that's the case, all right, I get it. The league got to try to have as competitive a balance. But if Philly didn't care, and the Packers were the ones that said we don't want to do it, I don't fully understand why, outside of I don't like long airplane rides. That's the only reason. Otherwise, home game instead of a roadie, early season exposure, build that brand up, make them, I don't know exactly, I should know this being a 3-semester Portuguese student. Yeah. I don't know what the dollar is in Brazil, but make them whatever's their currency is over there and have a great time with a great experience bringing your team together for a roadie before the season even starts. That's powerful. All positive things for the G&G, and now it doesn't look like that's going to be the case.
I believe it's the Real in Brazil.
Nope, that doesn't ring a bell. That's not what I remember it as. Not to say you're wrong. I'm just telling you I don't remember it. Now, again, part of the tricky part of learning Portuguese.
Why did I get the buzzer based on what Tauscht said?
He didn't think it was right.
So part of the problem when I learned Portuguese back in college was
that you didn't
there's
listen?
continental. No, there's continental, and then there's the Brazilian form. So there's actually two different dialects that come with learning Portuguese.
Sure. The Brazilian real is the official currency. I'm not sure where Steve
Butterman. What is the real?
It is subdivided into 100 centavos. Does that ring a bell of any sort?
Cents. Yeah, that's cents, which would be our cents.
Wow.
Centavos.
Thanks for explaining that.
Study at the next
Joe
level
Barry.
to figure that one out.
Well, I don't want to be all uppity because I know another language and you guys don't, but centavos would be, in essence, cents.
Do you really know another language?
It's best right there.
Eu sou ele nós somos elecial. I can tell you that.
If you would do the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin read right here in Portuguese, I will believe that you know two languages.
I don't think. Listen, if I could, I would. I can't, and I know Gina doesn't want to because it's important that I get this point across to y'all. If you've been waiting to replace broken windows and doors, or if you just want to revitalize your home with a new look, now is the time to get it done and to go over to Brazil to play the Eagles. Because from now until March 31st, you can get 0% interest for up to 3 years at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. That's right. Pella now and pay later. 3 years later, in fact. Order by March 31st. Get 0% interest for up to 3 years. Set your free consultation today at PellaWI.com. Certain restrictions do apply.
Janelas e portas Pella de Wisconsin. Janelas e portas Pella de Wisconsin.
That would be Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin in Portuguese.
That's pretty good.
Thank you. Google Translator really deserves all the credit there. We will continue to debate something that's apparently already been decided, and that the Packers are not going to Brazil. We'll also talk more about what they've got going on in their offensive line, about giving Jordan Love as much money as possible as soon as humanly possible, and our friend Tom Olson leaving ESPN Madison. That's all still ahead. Stick around. It's Wilde and Tauscht.
This is Wilde. Wilde and Tauscht is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio. He's the most interesting man in sports radio.
Well, should I have a chip on my shoulder that I'm not making as much money as Skip Bayless?
In his mind, anyway. The Homer Hour with special guests every day from 5 to 6.
I guess you could say it's getting better and better.
Well, no, you don't have to. You played on it. Maybe it didn't.
I don't think it ever did.
Okay.
I really don't.
The Homer Hour with Homer. Weekdays from 5 to 6. Right here on 94.5 ESPN and streaming live on YouTube.
Hi, this is John Neal, CPA, best-selling author and founder of the Neal Group. I have some questions for you. Who does your books? Hopefully not you. There are better things for you to do in running your business. Do you trust the numbers? Good numbers are critical for making good decisions. Are you getting the advice you need to minimize your taxes and put more money in your pocket? A good advisor makes suggestions to help your business grow and minimize taxes, not just put numbers on a form. Do your calls get returned and your questions answered? Many of our new clients tell us they love our quick response time. We have helped countless businesses increase their profits and lower stress. Get the advice you want and need to grow your business and minimize taxes. If you want to get started on the road to making more money and having less stress, visit nealgroup.net right now. That's NEAL group.net. The first meeting is free to see if we can help. Again, nealgroup.net.
For over 4 decades, one name has stood out as a symbol of excellence in automotive sales and service. It's the Boucher Automotive Group, dedicated to providing exceptional experiences to all of our valued customers.
We will help you find the perfect vehicle within your budget while respecting your time.
With 20 convenient locations, we're the one-stop destination for all your automotive needs.
At Boucher, we're your trusted partner on every mile of your journey, riding with you every mile since 1977. The Boucher Group has exciting news to share with you. We've expanded to better serve our community.
Introducing Nissan Lake Country, the newest addition to our family.
Step into our showroom and discover our exceptional selection of brand new Nissans.
We're also stocked with the best pre-owned options in the market.
And as we expand, we're not just growing our inventory, we're